Hey everybody, how's it going? So my camera failed on me. I'm gonna have to get a new one, so that's why there's not a camera of my face here. It'll be a couple days, so we'll see what happens here. Anyway, let's get right on with this. I want to start with this story because this is the only video that I have at the moment with involving the underage variety here of officers literally arresting them for doing what? Wearing a flag. Now we'll get into the comedian getting arrested here in a few, but look at this.
Yes, they are connected
as well. The reason over this around. Some camera.
He's 11. Are you trying to target me or something? You need to go home. You need to take my children and go home. Is that what you want? Yeah. So you're going to target my children, yeah?
I'm not talking about
Yeah, you are.
Anyone know?
Literally going after 11-year-olds wearing flag. You know what I mean? That's just crazy. Absolutely child predators. Absolutely child predators. This is psychotic. They're going up to the kids and saying, you can trust the police. You can trust the police. It's so creepy. If you have to try and get between the parent and their child, and the parent is not doing anything wrong, isn't doing anything illegal. Now, I'm not sure that they actually arrested, but look at how this guy's, yeah, right. I don't know. It's hard to say that, he's checking her out. I mean, this is a frame, you know, from a video. I hate it when people do this. If you can catch somebody with a picture in high quality, that's one thing, right? But if you just see somebody quickly, like, itch their nose or something like that, or, like, scratch their lip with their teeth or something, you know what I mean? It's like, that doesn't mean he's checking someone out. Although it could be. But you can see that there's motion blur all around his face. So, it's kind of silly to do that. When the state is policing children for wearing a flag, it's not about safety, it's about control. That should terrify anyone. The fact that they're sitting there telling anybody that they can't be doing that they can't be wearing their own flag. Imagine living in your state. Let's say you live in Oklahoma like I do. And I just decide I'm going to fly the Oklahoma flag, and then I'm getting arrested for it. I'm getting in trouble for it, getting citation for it. Shoot, even just having the cops come up and tell me, hey, that's disrespectful. You need to take that down. It's like unbelievable. You can't be doing that. You cannot tell me that I can't fly a flag. That's insane. So, anyway, let's get on to this comedian here, okay? UK comedian arrested over tweets about transgenders. Graham Linehan? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. A famous comedian in the United Kingdom was arrested by armed police over a trio of mean posts on social media upon his return to the country. Let's see. A famous British comedian was arrested after returning to the United Kingdom. Yeah, we read that part. If a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the... right? Graham Linehan on X. He says, I hate them, misogynists and homophobes, F them. Read another post from, okay. A photo you could... Ew, don't. Come on. I didn't need that, like, sensation here at all. On Tuesday's episode of the Ezra Levant Show, Ezra condemned the arrest as an authoritarian act by police, as, you know, one should. It was not normal for 5 armed police to arrest Linehan at the airport, Ezra said, where he was then grilled for hours and eventually charged. Maybe it's not actually about securing a conviction, he continued. Maybe charging him is about terrorizing people into silence. Showing the public that no one is safe regardless of fame or popularity if you cross transgender activists. And while his post may have been rude, citizens are supposed to be allowed to be rude in the United Kingdom. Can any pro-transgender cop arrest someone who is rude towards trans people and say stop tweeting or you'll stay in jail, Ezra asked. Well, of course, he said. It may not be lawful, but it works. You know what's funny is you'll never see these guys. Like, trans people make threats all the time on X. You'll never see them get arrested in the UK. It doesn't matter what they do. They will not be arrested. It's absolutely psychotic how bad this is going. I mean, look at this lady. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down. That's loud. But where's the flag lady? I just want to see that part. Okay, are you not going to show it? Is this just total clickbait? I think this was total clickbait. Wow, nice thumbnail, guy. You're not even going to show the video? I'm scrubbing all the way through this. Yeah, this is a number one thing to do if you're a YouTube creator, if you're a content creator in general. Don't make a thumbnail ever about an actual event that took place and then not show that event whatsoever. Are you kidding me? You might as well have just made a picture out of AI and just done that. That would have been better. Don't do it out of a real situation. But anyway, from this article, though, that we had read through, I want to see people's comments on it. Keir Starmer is a staunch defender of free speech. He said he'd even go as far as jailing those who claim there is no free speech. That's a good one. I like that joke. Oh, did nobody else like that? Come on, that was funny. Benny Hill would have been locked up in this day and age. The UK is now officially a police state without freedom of speech. He's not British, he's Irish. That's even, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's British at this point. You know what I mean? They own it. As much as Ireland and Scotland wants to, fight for their freedoms, it's, the reality is the UK owns them right now. And the UK is showing their power on Ireland, especially because Ireland is the exact opposite of Scotland. No wonder they didn't get along. I understand why they don't get along now. Because a majority of Scottish politics is very, 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 very left-wing. And a majority of Irish politics is very, very, very right-wing. It's not that there are not left-wing or right-wing people in Scotland. But I can imagine that puts them quite in the funky position, doesn't it? Very funky position. That kind of sucks for them. Count Dankula. Man, he's surrounded by some crazies. That sucks. That'd be like me living in New York. Oh, that'd be terrible. Glad I'm here in Oklahoma. In their HOC, when the minister was asked about this, she stuck to the usual justification. Well, people aren't being they're not commenting as much as I thought they would be here. Anyway, new commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, Mark Rowley, has released a statement saying the police were forced to arrest comedian Grind. They were not forced by any means. It's just so crazy. I mean, that's such a Nazi statement, to be honest. Mark Rowley says the police were forced. Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely like the worst possible thing he could have said. It's so stupid. He could have refused. Forced? Why? It was a comedy post from the legendary comedy writer. I mean, they really are attacking anything joyful in life, it seems. It seems we're not allowed to enjoy anything anymore, according to the left. They hate happiness. They hate happiness because they are unhappy. They're all unhappy, bitter, awful people, which is why they want to transition and make women in general miserable because they're envious, they're upset, they're incels, they couldn't get any, and that's why they are so genuinely upset with everyone, with women in general, and want to make them as uncomfortable as possible. They want to bring darkness into their lives because they're jealous. They're mad. They're mad that they were rejected. These leftists that always claim that it's us, quote-unquote, basement dwellers that need to touch grass are quite literally themselves the basement dwellers that need to touch grass. They're the losers who couldn't do well in school, socially, because they were socially inept. And instead of trying to change and adapt, they were resentful. That's them. That's why they've gotten into power. That's why they're forcing all this evil onto children and women. And then anybody who speaks out against it, the strong men who speak out against it, will get arrested. Well, go ahead and try that in the United States. That's why we have our Second Amendment. And that's why they're failing miserably to take over the United States. It was very easy for them to take over Australia. It was very easy for them to take over Ireland, Scotland, and the UK. It was very easy for them to take over the EU because they gave up their Second Amendment rights. Let that be a lesson to you all. This is immediately what needs to happen. Your Second Amendment, technically speaking, should be your First Amendment. I know we have made the First Amendment because we're like, nothing's more important than free speech. But when you need another amendment in order to guarantee that free speech, there's one amendment that would end up being more important, and that'd be your Second Amendment. The Second Amendment should be the first. That's the mistake that the UK, EU, and Australia needs to learn from us. We never should have made it number 2, because maybe, just maybe, they would have seen it as just a little bit more important if we would have named it number 1. And then that number 1 will always guarantee you the right to free speech. Because as long as you got one of those, who's going to tell you otherwise? Nobody. That's the mistake that the EU, the UK, and Australia absolutely need to fix. Bring back your Second Amendment, make it your First Amendment, and never allow anybody to take them again. Anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys here in the next one. Later.